Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How's everyone? Good. Alhamdulillah. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب يسر ولا تؤسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح وربنا زدنا علما ربنا زدنا علما ربنا زدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين اللهم فقهنا في الدين اللهم فقهنا في الدين يا رب العالمين الحمد لله. I'm good. Jazakallah khairan for asking, Parita. Okay, so all of you have been reflecting on what we have learned yesterday. And have you attempted doing the worksheet? It's just for your self-evaluation, not something like a homework, but, just to evaluate yourself. Where do you stand? Have you tried doing it? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. What are your thoughts since yesterday? Have you been thinking about how the stress is there in your, or have you been dealing with stress? And what are the few things which you have decided for yourself? Alhamdulillah. So I did a poll like for the case study so that you understand the 5 A's, what we learned in the relationship. So the first question in the poll was, Aisha is a mother of 3. She cooks, cleans, and takes care of everyone. Her husband is helpful, but rarely says, I love you, or shows physical affection. She feels invisible and unloved, even though her needs are met. What is the emotional need which is being missing from Aisha's life? Because many of you have answered, like, I really, it was amazing to see, by the way, that how we can see at a picture, like, and we can have a different point of view. But most of you have corrected, like, selected the right option, that is affection. It is affection which is missing in this relationship. It's the affection. She has attention. So attention is not what it is. It is affection which is missing, because here clearly somebody is not expressing or showing affection. Yeah. The second question what we had is, Zara works full-time and helps her younger siblings with studies. Her parents are proud but never acknowledge her efforts. They only mention when she forgets something. She feels like nothing she does is enough. So what is the emotional need which is missing? It is, let me see what most of you had chosen. It is appreciation. Yes, it is appreciation, because she's doing her best, but that goes unnoticed. And what is getting noticed is something when she misses something, right? So appreciation is there, which is lacking in these relationships. Okay, Heba spends time with her family, but everyone is always on their phones. No one makes eye contact or asks her how her day went. She feels like her presence doesn't matter. So what is lacking? So 191 of you chose attention. Some chose affection. That is your point of view. But majorly over here, it is attention which is lacking. Now, the fourth one, Mariam loves art and wants to start a small online shop, but her family keeps saying it's a waste of time and wants her to focus only on traditional career paths. She feels unheard and suffocated. What is the emotional need which is denied over here? It is the allowing, because most of you chose allowing, but there were 58 of you who chose acceptance. It's not about accepting, it's about allowing the other person to do what they want to do, right? So this is a major thing which is lacking in this relationship. Okay, Fatima is trying to become more practicing, but her friends constantly tease her for wearing hijab. Her family keeps comparing her to others. She feels like she's never good enough. So what's happening over here? It is acceptance. People are not accepting the other person for who they are. It's not about allowing, because this is not somebody to allow us to do something which is an obligation, right? Nobody has got the right to allow us, but it's rather them not accepting us for we doing the right thing and we making a choice, and they are not ready to accept us. So I hope you had a good time. I just did that poll for all of you to understand and have a clarity in a better way on these 5 A's. I hope that helped. Yes. So are we ready for day 2? Are we ready for day 2? Since we were discussing about worrying, and then we have to even address stress management today. So what do you think about worry? Like, what can you just give me a brief of what you learned yesterday? Can you just sum it up into a few points? Like, where did we stop yesterday? At what point did we leave yesterday? We were discussing about what differentiated between worry and anxiety, right? And then why constant worry is like an addiction. And it's a constant addiction. If somebody gets addicted to it, and it's very difficult for that person to come out of it, but then does it mean that that person is going to yani just they are habituated to it? So does it mean that they cannot come out of it? But definitely we have learned that we can overcome this thing of worry, right? That is what we had discussed yesterday, and on that note we had stopped. So we'll be discussing a few things today. Like yesterday, we spoke that how we need to be compassionate to ourselves and how we need to have a positive self-talk. Then, actually, the thing is that what causes worry? What really makes us worry? Because there are many reasons for a person to worry, right? So, firstly, it's family history of tension, it's stress or abuse. Like many times, it's in the family that there are so many events which have happened, and they kind of leave an impression in your mind, and they kind of traumatize you because those memories are not pleasant at all and you are struggling with it. So that is something which makes you worry about things, because you have been gone through a lot of stress, or maybe you have been through emotional, physical, or mental abuse. So this is one of the strongest reasons that people might be into this addiction of worrying, because they have had these situations in life where they were subjected to so much of trauma, right? And then it is coming from a family with bad temper. Because in our family, if our parents or one of our parents or somebody in our family, which whom we are living with, if they have bad temper, like if they lose their cool and calm over every single thing, and they just explode over every now and then, like it doesn't matter what it is, but the reaction is extreme. In these kind of situations where people are in the family, parents especially, it's about the parents I'm saying, if they are always yelling, hitting, threatening, this is when this worrying gets ingrained in us and we get habituated to worry. And then it's the parents fighting. Like the parents are left, right, center, always about arguments, and they are on the top of their voices and screaming, and they do not take things calmly at all, may it be any matter. So we think that maybe our kids are not observing many times, because we as humans as well are dealing with certain emotions and emotional baggages. And when we are talking to each other as spouses, we think that maybe my child is just 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Maybe they're not even observing, but that's not the case. Actually, they are observing you very keenly. The way you look at your partner, the way your partner looks at you, the language, the vocabulary you guys use for each other, it really matters in how they are shaped, and how you are shaping marriage as a relationship itself is like it gets ingrained in their minds. So this is not something small, it's huge, right? How you are behaving with each other. So that is why when we say about parenting, it is like you have to have intentional parenting where you are very cautious of how you speak, how you act, and how you treat each other, right? And then parents fighting, quarreling, and allegations towards each other, not treating each other with respect and honor. This is one more area which really causes people to worry. Even if we are grown up adults in our 30s today, and we are maybe in a cycle of worrying, we can ask ourselves what went wrong. Because when you go for therapy and counseling, it's not about your current situation. You are the product of your childhood, how your childhood had been, how you were parented, and how the environment in your family was. All of these factors play the role to shape you as an individual. Yeah, because there are two concepts when we are being raised. It's nature and nurture. Nature is something what we have and what is in our fitra, but nurture is how we are nurtured by the outer circle. It's our family and the environment we are being raised in. So your parenting style matters in shaping a person. And today you are the product of it. The way you were parented, the way you were raised, and how you came across life with different situations, that is how you are today. And if you realize that I am lacking certain things in my personality, then I must work on it, because it's never like our brain is just like muscles. When we go to the gym and we are doing strength training daily and we are doing the weightlifting, what happens? Our lean muscle mass gets developed, our body gets shredded, and we are in a nice shape, right? The same is with our brain. The more you reprogram it, the more it changes. So it needs a constant effort from your end. Nobody is going to do that effort for you. Nobody is going to um, tell you, you know, that this is going to work this way, and you know what, do this and do that. Nobody is going to do that for you. You are supposed to realize, you are supposed to take that step towards self awareness. You are supposed to understand what is lacking in me. Why do I, and instead of blaming on other people and saying that because if my husband speaks this way, because if my kids don't listen to me, I am screaming. That is one part of the story. But the reality of the matter is you get triggered. Why do you get triggered is the question. And that is the point where you need to worry. Yeah. But we cannot change our parents. How can we change ourselves? We can change ourselves. You cannot, I can't repeat it enough times, and I want to repeat it how many times you want. One person that you can change in this entire world, my dear sisters, is you alone. You are not here to change your parent. You are just here to understand that your parents did what they knew best. We are not here to judge our parents. We are supposed to forgive our parents because they did what they knew best. Today, we have so many sessions, so many workshops on mental health issues, on parenting, on conscious living, intentional living. They didn't have in their time, right? So we have to work on ourselves. It's not our job to fix them. It's our job to fix ourselves so that we don't cause this emotional bleeding to be on others. Stop bleeding emotionally and stop, to take this trauma into next generation. You should be the person who breaks this cycle, and you should be that person who just stops for you. So that is what you need to understand. This is your journey, and this journey doesn't end in 1 month, 2 month, one course, two course, one diploma, second diploma, one course. No way. The longest journey you could ever be on is the journey to self-discovery, my dear sisters. Yeah, we have to apply it to ourselves. Whenever we grow intellectually, it's not for us to judge our spouse, our parents, our kids. No, no, no. It's for us to introspect. Where do I stand? What do I need to work on? In what way can I get better? Procrastination is not about childhood trauma. Procrastination is we being fearful of so many things. That's another topic for some other day, inshallah. I didn't knew you guys are or would be interested in topics like these. So inshallah, someday I'll do a topic on laziness maybe. Or you can enroll yourself in Luminous Muslimah course, which will be upcoming soon. And you will learn about more of these topics. That will be structured and it will be less sisters, so I can concentrate, inshallah. Okay, so coming back to the topic, and we are one of the causes of worrying is like we are from the parents who constantly worry. Like if our parents are always on the go of worrying, what if that happens? What if this happens? Some parents are all about these worries. They are always like, if the child is going and they're like, they want to make sure everything is there, everything is safe, and they call 10 times and I call check up on the child, and they're like, are you fine? And even they have left the child on some camp or maybe some class, every 10 minutes they keep calling and they're worrying, maybe this would happen, don't have food outside, maybe food poisoning would happen, what, don't talk to this person, this might happen, that might happen, and they're always all over the place and they're on their toes constantly. And this can be one of the another reason that a person is always worrying. So one thing that I want all of you to understand: be a warrior, not warrior. Okay, you just need to fight all of these things, but not worry all the time. Fine. So this is something that you need to understand. I don't know why this does. Oh, is my slide visible? It's not moving for some reason. Hi. So, you know what? We try to even justify worrying. Like, it makes sense to the mind because sometimes you're right. Of course, sometimes we are right when we are worrying. It's like hoarding the worry because it has been proved right before. Even if it might be just for once, you feel good that you worried. Like if there was a situation and you were worrying and your worry turned out to be true, now you just take that part in your mind and you're always like, you know what, that time even you were not acknowledging that why I was panicking or I was worrying, actually I was right and that came out to be true, and these all things, right? So worrying about 99 things takes time, it takes your energy, it takes your emotions, and you are basically pouring your energy away. So you need to understand, make your energy last because you have so many other things to do. It's not just worrying about some matter. Like doing a good job by protecting others from danger. Example, like a parent protecting their child from danger all the time. In actual fact, we prevent our kids from learning valuable lessons by being overprotective. Like you can tell them that, you know what, in the kitchen, this is this and this is that. But if you don't allow them at all to get into the kitchen, to even explore and to just light up the stove and all of this, how much can you just be there and, always hovering over their head and talking about it? Basically, if they are in a situation where they are in need of lighting the stove, cooking something, maybe it's 2-minute noodles, maybe it's a pancake or something very easy, let them be, because that is where they are going to learn a lesson. You being overprotective is just being a hurdle for them to not learn any lesson, right? And the people who justify worrying is they feel that if they don't worry, calamity will hit. Like if I don't think of the worst case scenario, we will be affected. Like if we are boarding a plane and we just heard that there was a plane crash and it just happened and it's all over the news, and you're like, no, not at all, we are not gonna board a plane. Maybe you are going and checking how old the plane is, what the aircraft is, the distance is, and that and this, and you are just all over the place and you're thinking that what if we don't survive this plane, like with this we don't survive this flight, and what if this happens? Maybe we should leave our kids, maybe we should just be two people going, maybe you go or I stay, maybe this would happen, and you are just making it worse. And the more people think that they worry, they feel safe. They feel that as long as you're worrying, you're preventing calamities. But the truth of the matter is, you are basically exhausting yourself. As long as you're on the treadmill of worry, you feel like you're protecting your family and allowing bad things, not allowing the bad things to happen. So that is not, it is like nothing will help. You are running on the treadmill, you're not losing any calories, and even the treadmill is not working, and you are just going on and without any aim, and you don't just stop. So worrying is like a person running on the treadmill 24/7, because 24/7 running on the treadmill is going to exhaust you, burn you out, and you're going to collapse. So that is something which we need to understand. So what are the problems of worrying? That is something we need to understand before we say that, okay, what is the big deal if I'm worrying about something. Firstly, health issues, because you will be high prone to all these health issues like high blood pressure, heart attacks, and it affects our bodies. It affects your face, it affects how you look, because you're constantly burdened with so many things. And then comes the mental and psychological issues, because many people develop OCD. What is OCD basically? OCD is like obsessive compulsive disorder. Like many times, sisters or people, what happens in them that they have gone and made wudu, right? They have gone to the washroom and they have used the loo and then they have made wudu, they have come. Now there is this constant thought on their mind that maybe after I've washed myself, I have taken tahara, but still I feel that there was a droplet which came and it came till my thighs. So does it mean my wudu is valid or does it mean it's not valid? What do I do in this situation? Okay, let me go and wash myself. And you will be constantly washing yourself and it will be going on for hours. And then you will feel again the need that, okay, I need to rewash myself. And you have spent so many hours just in the washroom and the time for Salah has already passed. So from where did it start? From that thought that maybe this happened. That maybe is a maybe. Like yesterday, one sister said, I just constantly worry I would forget my hifz. That is a thought. What is supporting your thought? Is that the reality? Have you forgotten it? And whatever water I'm feeling, the trickling of water on my thigh, does it mean that was urine or it was water? So this is something, OCD doesn't start with so much of intensity. It takes the form of OCD when the initial thoughts are not controlled. That starts and stems from worrying. And then the worst case is paranoia in people, thinking people are always out to get you. There are many sisters who are, when like they are in situations, they always feel that this person is doing this to them. Even like a person is like doing something good to you, but you are worrying so much about it, or maybe you think not so good about that person. You'll be like, this person would hit me, this person would kill me, no, I can't stay in this place, this place is like this, and that person would turn up and do this to me. You are going into this situation, and when this turns worse, then it becomes paranoia and it life really becomes difficult, right? These are the extreme cases we are talking about when we speak about OCD, paranoia, clinical depression. They need medical help. They need medication along with therapy. That is the right kind of approach. And that is something we need to understand. There is no taboo in taking medication. Yesterday, after the session, the sister who watched the recording messaged me that she was in such a worse condition that one day she said she decided that, okay, Allah will definitely help me and Allah will send me some help. And she jumped off with her baby from the top floor of her building. She broke her neck and so many things got damaged. Her child just, alhamdulillah, was saved. But 2 years, it was a period of struggle to me. Yesterday, she sent me this message that then Allah sent me help and then I'm okay today and then I'm dealing with this. Imagine a person's condition where they jump off the building. What kind of pressure she might be having going through. So this is for us to understand, to take and seek help in the right time and not being a Google doctor to ourselves and being a ChatGPT doctor to ourselves, right? Then another problems of worrying is stress on relationship, and then restlessness. You can't sleep and you can't rest, and then you are unhappy. Like you have created scenarios of things and that can go wrong, and your body acts as though it's already happened. Like you are just, in your la la land and you're dreaming of all these situations, right? And then being overprotective. Sometimes many of the sisters are very overprotective about their kids. I remember it was my first child and he had some, when they are teething, they have loose bowels and all. So he was having that because I was a first time mother. I was speaking out and I was like, okay, because the normal water, what we have from the filter is not suiting my child. And I made my child to be on mineral water till like he was 3 years old. Like, I didn't allow him to have any other water. And it was not today's times. It's like I'm talking about something which is 15 years ago. So I was used to be on this. I used to even make his food and mineral water. Can you imagine that kind of hardship? I'm going everywhere. I have to carry few bottles with me. I'm not allowing, and I'm just overprotective of my child because I'm everywhere just doing that. So that is something. But when I had my second baby, I thought I understood that I cannot do this to myself and my child. Like me being telling him not to drink water from here and there, and I'm just carrying a bottle everywhere and being overprotective. That is like me always being making them feel suffocated about it. Then I realized that that's not in my control, and this is a normal process of teething, and they will definitely have all these conditions. So I need to relax. I need to take it easy. So this was the experiment I did with my first child. And because I was very overprotective, I didn't want him to fall sick because that was the only thing that would happen to him. That is diarrhea and all of those things. Apart from it, he was a very healthy child. So we need to understand and stop thinking, what if happens to my kid? Give kids the breathing space. When children learn to walk, they need to fall down to learn. How can you be always on your toes and protecting your child? Don't we need to understand that we make our children handicapped by doing too much for them, and they need to learn if they fall they can get up, and if they make mistakes they can redeem themselves. If they sin they can make tawbah and move on. Give them boundaries to help them learn in a healthy way, but definitely give them space. That is very, very important. Yeah. And something is like, you become a person who is like official party pooper. Like, just have fun and be in the moment. Don't be like, if somebody is organizing a party and they say that, okay, let us get together and let us do a barbecue, and you're like, no, 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 we can't do barbecue with kids around. What if my child goes and grabs a coal? What if this happens? What if the place catches fire? What if this turns out to be this way? I'm not sure if this is okay. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. Stop your what ifs and take it easy and let others breathe. Yeah. And then now we coming to the next part, which is ways to overcome fear. So, firstly, you need to get out of your mind and back into your body, and you need to catch your anxious thoughts early on. Firstly, for example, do you suffer first thing in the morning or before dealing with kids? So you need to sit or lie down in a quiet place, feel the tension and discomfort in your body, recognize it, and don't block the release of the discomfort. You need to pinpoint where the tension is. Why are you feeling what you're feeling? And try and locate it, because you cannot correct something unless and until you don't recognize it, you don't acknowledge it. And clear the fear response, because fear response is like it's like there's an unpleasant sensation to an end. And realize and be cognizant of what you're feeling. Let it go and make a conscious decision to let go of that fear. And you have to do it like sending instructions to your brain, like you have to do it. Because most warriors send mental signals, speak in the positive and combine it with your physical body language in a proper way. You need to break down this. One second. Okay, so you need to break down the body sensations, what you're feeling, and deal with them one by one. Firstly, focus on what you're feeling. If you are feeling breathless, then the first thing you'll be focusing on is taking deep breaths. If you feel stiff or you feel paralyzed, like you feel there's this, stiffness in your body, do gentle twists. This is the second thing that you would do, because we have a physical reaction when we are anxious. Therefore, we need to treat it physically and then calm the body into its natural state of relaxation. And when the fear subsides, lie down with your eyes closed and relax. Try to sink in deeper in your body. That is mindfulness, what I taught you yesterday. And listen to relaxing sounds, or maybe you can use aromatherapy, any scent you like to sniff, or you like, maybe you can just spray it a bit to calm down your senses, because scents have memories. Like, you know how some sounds and smells, they scents, they take you back into memories. So if you have some good memory associated with some kind of scent, just spray it. It will really affect, and you will feel a bit relaxed. And and you can even use a beautiful scent that gets you up feeling positive. Maybe you can do like have a shower with your favorite shower gel, or maybe a hand cream, etc. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, those who have believed and whose hearts are assured by the remembrance of Allah, unquestionably by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured. There is no other way than we doing dhikr and remembering Allah. Because Allah is the one who gives us sakina. And when we remember Allah, that is what affects us. And other forms of self-care are additional help. We can go to a spa all day and still feel anxious. That is a fact. But do we feel more assured, at ease, that when we think about Allah, or repent, or do dhikr? If not, there is something wrong with our connection with Allah. So that is where we need to understand what needs to be worked on. Hmm? I'll come to the questions later. Like I said yesterday, questions are always for the end, because I don't really look into the chat box, because most of the times it's something which is not related to what I'm talking. So I keep it for the end. Okay. So right now I'll be just speaking about whatever needs to be addressed, and then we'll come back and talk about your queries. The next thing for us is for us to understand, are you dunya centric or akhira centric? First of all, look at things, put things into the perspective by thinking about the akhirah. Because we can get so consumed with the dunya and the status and the work and whatnot. But what is the end result of everything we are doing? This is something we need to realize. Thinking of this makes us akhirah centric, because that is something important. Being a Muslim, being a believer, end of the day, you are answerable to Allah about your time, about your knowledge, about your money, about every single thing, where you spent all of these. So you have to make it akhirah centric. And the end doesn't justify the means. Focus on the quality and not the quantity. It's not about how much you do, it's about how much you do mindfully and with full heart. I see in today's day and time, we are having this greed of learning so many things. We enroll ourselves in so many courses, and we are running after this class and that class, hopping in from one Zoom room to another Zoom room. How much are you really applying in your life? How much are you even able to recall? How much are you really be able to practice? That's the question. That's something we need to understand. It's not about how much you know, but how much is it in your conduct, in your behavior. It's not about doing 100 courses, but when you speak, when you behave, do those 100 courses speak for you? Or you just sound like a person who has not studied anything? What is that? Take that pause, take it slow. You don't have to fit in with other people. You don't have to try so hard that what your other sisters are doing and you need to do it as well. There's no need to fit in. You're not in a race. You are in a race with yourself. Just because everybody's doing hifz, I'll do hifz. Just because everybody's studying this, I'll study this. Just because everybody's becoming an alima, I'll become an alima. Why do you want to do it? What is your why in doing it? How does it serve your bigger picture? Does it serve your bigger goal? You being obedient to Allah, you wanting to please Allah, how is it going to help you? How is it supporting your talent? Just being like somebody, I want to be like Fla and I want to be like Fla. Why? Do you really know who they are? Do you really know what have been their struggles? It's a very glittery, glossy picture what you see, but it is just part of their life. It's not completely their reality. So look at the example of Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. He just had a handful of followers in 900 years. But even in today's day and time, we talk about him, we remember him. It was not about the amount of the number of followers he had, but his effort was not meaningless. So it is more important for our deeds to be accepted. Please remember this. It's not about how much you're doing. And then remember accountability. You need to be accountable. Like, okay, nowadays we have sisters doing online courses, the online setup. We have these groups where we can, check upon each other. Accountability really gets you doing things because we know that we'll be judged for our actions. That is why we think before doing something. That is why we hold back. And as long as you're worrying, you are preventing calamities. But one thing is for sure, you're exhausting yourself. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, it is He who sent down tranquility into the hearts of the believers, and it will increase in faith in along with their faith. And to Allah belong the soldiers of the heavens and the earth, and ever is Allah knowing and wise. So Allah sent Sakina. Your connection to Allah is in direct correlation to how peaceful you are. You don't need 100 things to make you feel peaceful. Why are we restless? It is something you need to understand that you are lacking that connection with Allah. Self-care helps. I do agree. I advocate for it. I am all for it. Like every single day, I vouch for it. But Allah puts serenity in the hearts of the people. That is something we have to understand. So we can have everything going on, but when your heart is connected to Allah, you have peace. You are at peace. You are not like on the edge. So how to stop really worrying and how to change your worrying ways? These are a few things. I'm not saying through this workshop that this is it all and this is the only way to deal with things, but I feel this is something we can try do best, and it worked for me. So I'm hoping it works for you. So you know what? We change our beliefs. The first thing is that a worried belief. Belief is not about aqidah. Let me get this straight, because now people will be coming to my chat box and saying, sister, is it the aqidah you're talking about? Aqidah is the same for each and every one of us. There is no disagreement on the aqidah matters. What we are talking about over here is the belief, yani your thought. And that thought has become very strong and taken the form of belief. Okay, I don't have much time to psychoeducate you on the belief, but then just understand this. So don't please mix it up with aqidah. So what is a worried belief? A worried belief is you thinking that the world is unsafe and it is only natural to worry. There's no other way around. But the better belief is you can still be safe in an unsafe world by making your personal situation safe. You add to the world's overall security. You being a better person, you being a better neighbor, you being a better relative, you being a better Muslimah, you are contributing to the society by being a better person, isn't it? So world definitely has become a little better place, and it is definitely a little bit safer than a worried belief like life is full of accidents and random bad things and I must be on the lookout for them. I must put on my Sherlock hats on and a detective hat and a magnifying glass, and every single time something happens, I'll be looking into it, I'll be magnifying it. Stop it. What is the worried belief? This is it. And then better belief is accidents can be prevented with useful measures. Like if you are seated in the car, you wearing a seatbelt and not living in a flood zone is definitely going to prevent accidents. Once the precaution is in place, there is nothing more to do. That is only in your control. And by definition, unpredictable things cannot be foreseen. You have to accept it and move on. You can't be like, okay, I'm leaving home, I need to see the weather forecast. It showed sunny, clear skies and clear road, and you just left. And now you see that the floods have come. and there are bad rains, the roads are blocked, everything is just messed up, and you're like, how come this could happen? I did all of what it required. I did the weather forecast check and all of it. My dear sister, you need to understand weather is not in your control. It is in Allah's control, and it can happen. Yeah. So this is something what you need to understand. And then there can be a worried belief, like you inherited the worried gene. You know what? I got it from my mother. It's all because of my mama. Because she used to worry, I worry. Khalas, I can't help it. I am going to be this way. No, the better belief is you learned how to worry. So now you can unlearn how to worry. It's a habit rooted in your sense of security. And by becoming more secure in yourself, you gain control over your fears. So, what you need to do, be secure in yourself. That is something which is needed from you. And that is how you can stop this. You can be that cycle breaker for your family, right? And then change your paradigm. Yeah. So, what is it? Firstly, you must be recovering, being a warrior. You should write down some basic facts about yourself. Like, first thing to understand, you aren't helping the situation by worrying, and you will be of greater help by pitching in on practical basis. Like, you have some practical ideas and solutions to give. That is you doing some help and, doing some better. And just worrying is not going to change anybody's situation. And you aren't improving anyone's life by worrying about them. To improve their lives, you need to be supportive, appreciative, and all the 5 ways what we had learned. You're not actually helping them by constantly worrying about them. You're just suffocating them. And then not to worry is psychologically healthy, because non-worriers, they are being careless and not or negligent. Yeah. And don't think that by simply worrying you have got things covered. If I sit and on my chair and I am my couch and I just worry for a few hours, I'm doing something like the most noble job in this world. No, you are not. You're not going to do anything doing that. And worry is basically a sign of deeper anxiety, and it is healed by addressing that deeper level. If it's more anxiety, it is best to get it addressed. And this constant worry makes you unhappy. And this is like one big reason enough to give it up, because it's not helping. It's making you unhappy. All we want from this world is to be happy. Everybody wants happiness, everybody seeks happiness. So we just need to khalas, do it. Yani, okay? I really don't want any distraction and messages in the chat. I am sure it doesn't take a lot to just follow some simple instructions and cooperate with me rather than derailing me and derailing the audience. Jazakallah. And when we are constantly worrying, it leads to bad decisions, because they are colored by needless and unrealistic fears. If you want a better life, you need good decisions. Bad decisions are something which really make us worry a lot. And worry shuts out others who want to be close to you. They just avoid you because you are a person who constantly worries and you're constantly on the edge and you always create this panic. So definitely nobody wants to befriend you or wants to spend their time with you, right? They do want to, they like you as a person and everything, but they cannot take all of this all the time. So this is something, the more you worry, the farther they will go away. May it be your children, may it be your spouse or other people whom you really value and want in your life. Yeah. And then the last thing, to sum everything up, I just want to talk for day one, by the way. So mindfulness is something that you need to practice. Stop thinking what if. Stay busy and productive, because the more busy and productive you are, less the time you have to worry. And then tawakkul is very important. Put your trust in Allah alone, because that is the only way to find peace. Allah will take care of things better than we can. And then deep breathing, which we did yesterday, that is important, because breathe in, hold and release. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us anxious. And when the evil touches him, Allah says in the Quran, He becomes impatient, and when good touches him, withholding of it, except the observer of prayer, those who are in constant in their prayer. So, anxiety, worry, impatience are therefore normal. And we do worry about our possessions. We just, are not people who are devoid of all of these things. It is part of us. But just don't go through the motions of salah. Observe what you are doing in your salah with full mindfulness, with full tawakkul. And then you understand that that is the first step towards you maybe overcoming anxiety. Combine the mindfulness during salah, tawakkul, and psychology together to overcome everything that what you are facing. Okay. So these are a few things which I really wanted to talk about, and then we'll move on to today's main topic, which is stress. Today's session is going to be a bit longer. So I'm just giving a disclaimer first that those people who keep asking me in the chat, like when the session end, when will the session end? So I just want to tell them prior that of course I'm going to take a little bit of time. So if you have anything to attend or anything of that sort which you want to leave the session, no problem, you can do so. But I'll be just, speaking about it in a more elaborative way. And then we'll be even talking about a few things that is your question answers, and I would be addressing them as well as to my little understanding. So far, are we good? Are we clear? Hmm? Yes. Are you understanding, relating with what we have been discussing? Okay, Alhamdulillah. Just give me a moment, please. So the ayat I had mentioned is of Surah Al-Ma'arij from ayah 19 to 23, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Innal insana khuliqa halu'a, right? Because indeed mankind was created anxious. So don't feel like an alien when you feel anxious. So that is something which you need to understand. And Allah is describing our natural human tendency that we were created with a fragile emotion setup, and we do get anxious, we do get restless, and we get easily overwhelmed. So when evil touches us, we become impatient. And when hardship really strikes, we panic and we become restless, we become hopeless, and even angry. So it is our default emotional reaction. And we want instant relief, and we really don't know how to sit with the discomfort, right? And when the good touches him, withholding of it. So when we finally get the blessings, like what all we want, money, ease, health, wealth, we become possessive. We don't want to share, and we fear losing it again. So we hold on to it very tight, and we feel that this is from us, forgetting that Allah is the one who is the giver and He can give again. But the exception is for whom? Exception is for the people who pray. Here comes the exception. Not everyone stays anxious and reactive. Those who have a habit of salah, they are different, because salah regulates the heart. It teaches you patience. It trains your soul to breathe. It really trains your mind to reflect and your body to submit. So those who are constant in their prayer, constant means consistency is the key for you to be feeling this. So not just praying during problems. It shouldn't be like what do you say, emergency helpline. No. But you have to be regular, even in your ease. So these are the people who rise above the anxious default setting of mankind. So you need to understand how is my situation when I'm doing my salah. Salah is what really brings emotional regulation. Make Salah your anchor every single time in your emotional highs and lows, right? So, this is something which we need to understand. Since we are clear with all of this, we are going to move on with stress. So, the first thing what I want to ask you as a question, what do you think stress is and what are its causes? For you, it's your personal answer. So give me this answer. What is mental stress and what are its causes? Hmm, come on. Anxiety of the future, overburden. Mhm. Keep them coming. Okay. Now tell me what are the causes? Give me the causes. Pressure to do something or not, or to avoid something, no skills to handle, worry, tightening of chest. I have not asked the symptoms yet. I have asked what are its causes. Lack of discipline, okay. Anxiety for something future, not accepting the reality, okay. Health issues, okay. Guilt, fine. What are the symptoms of mental stress? If you have been stressed from your own experience, tell me what were the symptoms? Feeling heavy, always cranky, okay, headache, stomach pain, brain fog, crying, shouting, gastric, losing. Okay, that's good. Okay. And how have you all been coping up? Your personal experience. How have you been coping up with stress? Quran, always in talk. Sleep. Zikr. Okay. Sometimes crying. By Salah, prayer, Quran. Okay. 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 Good. Good, Alhamdulillah. All of you have really got a good idea on this matter. So, we are definitely going to talk about this now. So, firstly, whenever you are feeling overwhelmed and you are feeling exhausted and burnt out, so if at all you don't manage stress properly, you can feel burnt out or you can even have a nervous breakdown. So you need to understand to take things one step at a time and really work on it. But you have to know how to balance and deal with the stress. So, what stresses you out is a very important question because it is very tailor made for every single person. It's not the same for all. Not everything, causes stress for everyone. It's different, okay? So, the first thing is most of the times it's our finances. Like, how am I really going to take care of this? Because if you are the bread earner, then you will have a lot of stress whenever you are reaching the month end. Will you be able to meet all the needs of the family? Will you be able to keep up with the fee, the bill payments, and all of that? That definitely causes stress. And then it can be your work. If you are a working woman and you have deadlines to meet and you have so much of pressure to do all of this, there's pressure and expectations from your boss, and you're like, how do I really take care of this? How do I really even complete these deadlines? Because things seem, all hazy. I don't know how to go about it. This is one thing that you would stress. Then it's your kids, like you are constantly being stressed because of them, because of their academics. You don't know, the grades are not very great, and your husband is questioning you, like, why is this even happening, and all of that, and then waking them up and going school on time, it's their homework, it's their assignments, and you're constantly worrying about this, and you're constantly stressed out. And then comes spouse are also one of the reasons of stresses for many of the people, because we don't know how to resolve our conflicts with them. We have marital issues with each other, and so many different reasons that we are not with each other on the same page. And then family issues. It can be with your own family, that is your parents and your siblings. It can be with your in-laws family, where you are dealing with different behaviors and mistreatment and all of these things, right? So it keeps you stressed at all the time. And if at all your relationship is like so broken that it is heading towards divorce or separation, then you again are stressed. Then it's the health for many people, like their health condition is not great, and every day there is something which comes up and they feel so low about it, because they don't know what's happening. They are doing what it needs to be done, but still the health is not improving, so it again stresses out a person. So you need to first recognize the stress. How do you know you are stressed? So there are physical complaints what we feel, that is headaches, back pain, it is indigestion, it is palpitations, like your breath is like too fast and you feel your heart racing and you just feel it's not normal. Then it is cognitive problems to do with your brain, that you are facing with poor concentration. If at all we are stressed due to our home and whatever domestic issues, if you are a student of memorization, you will feel that you are not able to concentrate and memorize your lessons the way you used to do that. So it has a lot to do with your stress level, right? And if you are an excellent teacher and if you are going through a stress, it shows in your teaching, it shows in the way you are conducting yourself, because you are stressed, so you cannot be your best self when you are highly stressed. And then it is indecisiveness. When a person is stressed, they don't even are in a condition to make some simple decisions. They are like, they don't know even if they want to have noodles or fried rice, or maybe it's a biryani or a mandi for lunch, what to cook, what not to cook, what shall I wear, and shall we go here or shall we go there? This has to be done now or this has to be done later. They are just so clueless because they are very indecisive because of this condition. And then emotional symptoms, like many of you mentioned already, is crying. Somebody like they don't know how to deal with it. So automatically, that's the only vent we all have, that is start crying, because we can't control those tears and we are helpless. And then irritability, like Juveria had mentioned, that it is cranky. It's basically you being irritated all the time, and it's not a huge thing. And then you realize later that it was not even a big deal. Why did I even give that reaction? It's because you're irritable because of so many things which have been happening. And then insomnia, you are not able to sleep at night, like you don't know what's happening, and you can't find that peace to sleep. So that is one more thing. So now when we talk about stress response, there are a few ways that our body responds that we should know, because stressful situations, they trigger a physical reaction which is known as stress response. Like example, running late for a meeting or potential car accident. So what happens? The brain, it relays warnings to the muscles, which tighten. And due to that, the adrenal glands, which release stress hormones such as adrenaline or cortisol. So these hormones help your body prepare to flight or flee to safety. Yeah. And example, like you run to get to the meeting or you run away from the danger. So this mechanism is inbuilt in all of us, and this mechanism is in our bodies to protect ourselves. I think I had spoken about this when I did a pre-Ramadan workshop where I spoke briefly about the stress responses of our body. So the first thing what we need to understand, there are four stress responses. Okay. So there's this fight, flight, freeze, fawn. These are the four ways which our body reacts in. Okay. So what is this fight mode? You feel stressed up such a way that you react with anger. You end up shouting, you end up arguing, or you get irritated. And you might raise your voice, you might slam a door, you might just, start putting your utensils in the rack with so much of noise, and you are doing all of these things, right? So, this is something. If anything you feel is missed, you can watch the recording, please. Okay, so you snap at someone. This is fight mode of reacting, right? So, because, for example, if you're overwhelmed with housework and your child spills with something, what happens? You are already worked up. There are guests which are going to show up. Your husband has told that, these people are coming and these people are like very important and you need to do all of this. That day, even your mother in law says that, you have to do this, 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 and this. I need it as ASAP. And you are working since morning, you just hardly had some breakfast. When you went to your coffee, it was already cold. So you are already very stressed. Now you're cleaning the table, you set up the table and everything, and you turn around to do something, and your child just spills the juice on the table. What would you do? You immediately yell. So, is it justified for you to yell from your point of view? Yes. But then this is a response which is of fight, where you are showing that, you know what, it's done now. I am really not up for it. So, what happens is when people demand our high, when we are feeling our lowest, is when we react in this way. Why do we often break down on the silliest things after a tiring day? The reason being somebody else is demanding of our high in when we are feeling the lowest. Because we are already feeling very low, and somebody to demand so much of things from us, we feel so tired, right? So, what did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? The strong is not the one who can overpower others, but the one who controls himself when angry. Then the second stress response is flight. It is basically you escaping or avoiding. You avoid the problem. You either stay quiet, you either scroll your phone, or you run away from what stresses you instead of facing it, because maybe you're anxious about an exam, an interview, or a conversation. So, what do? You avoid it and you distract yourself with some reels on your phone, some shots on your phone. You just avoid it. Hmm? So, you know what? You need to understand flight mode doesn't help always. In some situations, yes, but in intense situations, no. Because you are just running away, but the problem is going to be there. So you need to understand, whoever fears Allah, Allah will make a way out for that person, right? So turn to Allah and ask Allah's help, face the problem one step at a time, and then remember one thing: escaping doesn't solve it. Tawakkul and do the action. That is important. Ask yourself, what's the next right thing I can do? Then the third one is freeze. You feeling numb or stuck. You don't know what to do basically. You feel paralyzed and maybe it's like mentally frozen. There are no thoughts, no energy, just stuck. Maybe you are facing some financial problems. And instead of making a plan, what do? You just shut down and do nothing about it. So, this is a freeze mode of your stress, right? You reacting with a freeze mode. So, first of all, you need to make this dua constantly, that you must ask Allah to protect you from all kinds of worry, sadness, weakness, laziness, which I had even shared yesterday on the group. So, make dua regularly, do something small, just brainstorm everything what you can get out of the situation. Maybe talk to someone you trust, and you have to tell yourself that this will also pass. Allah is with me. With Allah's help, I will overcome this, right? And then it is the fawn. What is fawn? It is basically pleasing people excessively. Like you say yes to everything, even when you're exhausted. It's like you have been in the kitchen doing all the chores, taking your classes, teaching your kids. All of that has happened. And then somebody comes and says, you know what, can you make this flyer for me? You're like, okay. Because you can't say no, because you are scared others will get upset. And instead of being so stressed and worked up, because of all of that that has been happening since the morning, but still you agree. So that is something. So that is something which we need to understand. We are not here to seek pleasure from the people, because understand this, everybody is not going to be pleased with us. We cannot please 10 to 15 people in our family. And of course, there are healthy ways to say no when it comes to you, when it's about you and you being stressed. So you have to say that no, I am really not up for it. Maybe I'm really, Jazakallah khair for giving me this opportunity, but I'm not sure I'll be able to meet this because I'm already occupied. You have to learn ways, my dear sisters, to communicate. Don't be that person to get into this trap of saying yes always. And ask yourself in these situations, when you're in such situations, because I can't deep dive into each and every point. I do want to, but of course the time. Ask yourself, am I doing this for Allah or just to avoid guilt? Why am I doing this? So kindly learn to say no when needed, because your health, your time, your boundaries matter too. You just being there for everybody every single time is not possible. It's not human, right? And you need to make dua for yourself for the strength and the clarity. So all of us respond to stress in different ways. You have to see what is the most used way by you, and that's okay, because Islam is not expecting any perfection, but it really gives us guidance to respond with wisdom and balance. So, whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember this, that Allah sees your struggle and Allah has given you tools in your faith to bring calm to your storm. Islam is a religion like that. And people feel that, okay, if we are practicing, we are not supposed to do this or do that. So you have to understand this, and these are the stress responses which we usually use. So what are the damages of chronic stress? I'm not talking about the usual stress which most of us suffer. Like I said, I want to emphasize on this. You feeling lazy, like you feeling sad, is not you being in depression. You know what depression is? The clinical depression. The person suffering from it, for them, getting up from their bed, going to the wash basin and brushing their teeth is like a huge accomplishment, because they are in that state where they don't even want to do that much. They are not capable of doing it. That is depression, a sadness over a heartbreak or somebody's sarcastic comment and this and that. Don't use these terms there, because they are become the buzzwords nowadays and they are loosely used. I'm feeling depressed. Depressed is a huge thing. And by saying so, for just maybe losing something like a favorite jewelry piece, or maybe not being able to catch up on the sale, you feeling depressed, somebody just passed a sarcastic comment on your weight, that is not you going into depression, my dear sister. It's just you feeling bad about something. And that's fine, it's normal. There are people who suffer so much that they can't even get up and do their normal stuff. They can't even comb their hair. The therapist has to give them instructions that get up, do this is ready, do this. And that is what they do, and they feel accomplished. So don't count yourself in that category always. Because many times Islam doesn't allow self-pity. Stop coming out as a person who's always pitying themselves. I am the only person dealing with it. No, there are many people dealing with it, and definitely we can find inspiration and we can learn and we can do a lot. And there is a lot of help available now. It's not like in the times of our mothers and grandmothers, maybe. So, what are the damages of chronic stress if you're constantly in this condition of stress, like you are in the state of high alert 24/7? That takes a toll on your body. It will increase your blood sugar, which leads to diabetes, and you will be diabetic, and you will have high blood pressure, which causes insomnia, and there is a high chances for you to have a heart attack. It causes heart diseases, and it leads to then the clinical depression and anxiety. And if you don't have a coping mechanism, it will only lead to bigger problems. This is something which we need to understand, that coping mechanisms are needed. So, how do you cope with stress? Firstly, avoid unhealthy stress relief like eating too much. Definitely, food comforts us, but comfort food makes you feel good for the moment. Like you having a chocolate just because you're feeling low is fine. But if you get addicted to having that, you are going to put on a lot of weight, a lot of sugar spike. And then definitely it shows up in your mood, in your skin, in your hair, in your sleep, and everything. So, not helping. Then many people go into addictions like smoking cigarettes and doing all of that. That's not going to help. Drinking alcohol, using drugs as a way to relax. That's not going to help again. And then sleeping too much or not sleeping enough. That is one more thing. So, firstly, try to understand you need to accept the things that you can't change, right? Like when you are driving home, or you are in a cab and you have booked a cab to go home, and it is the rush hour, so there will be a lot of traffic. You cannot control it. It's a rush hour. Even you have to reach home. The other people have to. You just stressing out and screaming and screeching and going crazy is not going to help you, right? So that is something you can't change. You are living with your in-laws. You cannot control how they behave. You cannot control how they react. You cannot control what comes out of their mouths. So you just have to understand, right? And maybe you have to work full time, and that is the work commitment you have. But khalas, you need to do it. Hmm? Change the things which you can change. Maybe your sleep pattern, your eating habits, the way you deal and react to situations. And maybe you can adjust things in your situation to make it easier for you. You know that this is my situation. I'm going to live with these people in this place for this long. I don't know when I'm going out from here. Or maybe I'm just going to be stuck with these people. How do I make the situation better for myself so that I can survive, I can feel better? Is maybe you trying to find that emotional support, maybe listening to lectures, connecting with the halaqat, and you just want to learn Islamic knowledge and you don't have time. Maybe like this lecture, you have work and you have to attend and you are driving. If you're driving, maybe you can listen to my recording. So you're not missing out on anything. You cannot be stressed out because you were fully working and then you had missed something very important. These are a few tweaks which you can make. And then accepting the circumstances and dealing with them is very important because what has happened has happened. Now, what can we do to just make it work? What is that we can do instead of just getting um, all stressed out about it, right? So that is something. And then you have to understand, like, I would want to ask you, like, what is really your transformational vocabulary? What do you speak to yourself when you are stressed? How do you speak to yourself? That is also very, very important. Because to help, why do we need this transformational vocabulary is to help ourselves to employ habitual vocabulary, to amplify or lower the intensity what we feel of emotional states, like maybe amplifying our good states. So these words can really help us lessen the intensity of the negative states. Like, when we say to ourselves, I'm a little tired, versus me telling myself, I'm exhausted. How does it sound? In the word itself, right? It's like, I'm a little tired. I'll be fine. I'll just have some coffee. I'll just lie down a bit and I'll feel okay. And saying, like, I'm exhausted. I'm dead. I really don't know what to do. So, how do you feel hearing this? You'll be like, okay, this person is just gone, right? Yes or no? Hmm? Come on, tell me. Okay. So these are a few things which we can change, like in our vocabulary, and because change of your words really help. Like you saying, like, you know what, I'm just droning with all these worries, and this world is making me, It's just making me feel suffocated and all of that. Instead of that, you can say that, you know what, I'm just learning to swim through the tough waters. I'm learning. I'm trying my best. And then you saying that I can't handle this. I can't live with these people. These people are just intolerable. I can't really deal with them. You can say that Allah is helping me grow through this. So shift your words, and that way you shift your emotions. That is how they play a huge role. So change your words to change your life, my dear sisters. Instead of having problems, say you have challenges. When you see things as problems, you feel like a threat, which triggers the stress response. The problem is there. Of course, it is there. And this allows your body to respond in a more creative way when you take it as a challenge. Like somebody comes up to you, your child comes up to you, and they're not able to uncap the bottle, maybe not uncork the bottle. Like the bottle is there, the jam bottle or any bottle, and they come to you. And now you try, and the child says, Mama, and even you can't open it. I don't know, you're so strong and everything, you can't open it. Now you are like, huh? How could he even tell me that? Let me show him that I have got the muscle to open it. And you take it as a challenge. And just think that if you take it as, oh, somebody will think I'm a failure because I'm not even able to uncap this bottle, that will stress you out. I hope I'm making sense. I want to give the simple example so all of you to understand and not ask me what that means. Okay. So this is something you come up with a creative way. You're like, you take a piece of cloth and you are like doing that opening, and then maybe you think of doing something else, using maybe a screwdriver to just uncap it from a side or something like that. You come up with a creative way to deal with it. And instead of feeling scared, you feel excited and you look forward to overcoming a new challenge. So instead of being overwhelmed, be in control. And there are a few things which are healthy stress busters. You need to change your outlook to be more positive. Instead of thinking, why does everything always go wrong? Why don't the kids listen? You need to say, I can find a way through this. I have got this. I can get through this. I really need to understand why my kids are behaving like this, but then, yes, I'll do it. I'll manage. I'll find out a way. I'm working on this one. So this is something you need to understand. A few more slides, inshallah, then we'll wind up. I'm sorry if I'm taking much of your time. And then the second thing is that healthy stress busters include being more organized. Like if you're organized with everything in its place, you will do wonders. And you can get external help if you need. Be organized in your thoughts, be organized in your home, in your schedule. And you need to plan ahead and avoid being late. Like if you have a wedding coming up in your family, so instead of keeping it for the last, maybe buy a gift for a wedding 1 week in advance. Prepare your clothes and your family's clothes and all the accessories 1 week in advance so that you don't really have to be on the edge. And whenever you have a critical day ahead, start off 30 minutes earlier. That is how we can really calm down and break the cycle of stress. Like we get stressed and then act in a way that makes it even worse. We managing ourselves, which is called as time management, is sometimes required. Calculate backwards. Example, you need to leave home by 8 a.m. So what time do I need to leave the house? What time do I need to be ready by? How much time do I need to get ready? All of this, right? And then you need to have enough sleep. Whenever you have enough sleep, you can think more clearly. Consolidation of information is learned, and too little sleep is associated with shorter lifespan. And sleep and metabolism are actually interconnected, and they're controlled by the same sectors of the brain. So if you are feeling that you're overweight and you don't feel best in your body, try to lose weight, lose more body fat by getting more sleep. And staying up all night to work is not actually a good thing to do. It's not a superpower for you to stay awake and not need enough sleep. Getting enough sleep is really important, and eating well and exercising as well. And when we sleep, the protein buildup in the brain is sucked up. Okay. And if we don't sleep, what happens? The protein buildup, what is in the brain, is what it leads to Alzheimer's. So we have to take things seriously, especially valuing our body. And eating healthy is very important. Eating healthy food means not having burgers and pizzas and pastries and all these baked stuff is not healthy. Healthy means you eating something that's going to nourish your body. And you need to skip high sugar snack foods, and you need to have some vegetables in your plate. You need to have some proteins. Hmm? For many people, even the dairy products, they cause inflammation, so they have to be careful with it. And refined carbs, especially what do you say, maida in Urdu, and refined flour, all these bakery items, what they are made are they are from refined carbs, and they are linked to depression. And high form of sugar is really something which is stronger than the high form of cocaine. So you having maybe 3 teaspoons of white sugar in your tea or coffee is basically you consuming too much of it. And the same part of your brain lights up when having sugar, when having cocaine, and both can be an addiction. So our body is an amana, and this plays a huge role in stress management. So just imagine if you own something um, like a luxury car, maybe you own a Lamborghini. You want to fill it up with premium fuel, right? Just because it's a Lamborghini. So, what kind of premium fuel are you filling in your bodies? So, exercise, reduce stress, boost happy chemicals, endorphins, and just as they are just as effective as antidepressants, right? And prevent what do you say, hippocampus is related to memory and learning because the brain starts degenerating around the age of 45. Learning becomes harder unless you exercise to rebuild it. So exercising really helps in preventing degeneration of the hippocampus. If you did not know this, then please understand this. Relaxation techniques are really needed. You need to close your eyes, do the deep breathing, and deep breathe in through nose and hold and breathe out. And like I said yesterday, visualization exercise helps, deep breathing helps, muscle relaxation helps. Start with your toes, then flex, then tense, then release, then work up way to your body and to the bottom, and then release your muscles and relax them before going to bed. And caffeine and chocolate can keep you away. So when you have them later in the day, that really won't let you sleep. So no chai or coffee after asr. Okay, anything you want, it should be before asr if you want to have a sound sleep. And prepare yourself for sleep. Like you don't lie down on your bed since the morning. If you're taking classes, it shouldn't be on your bed. It should be on your couch, maybe somewhere you are not sleeping. So don't make your bed as in a place just to sleep and not to lie around throughout the day, because then when you go back there to like in the night, it just feels like normal and it doesn't feel like sleeping. Make up your bed, have a bed sheet, neat, nice sheets, spray up your room, maybe some nice aromatics before you sleep. And that is something. And then you need to take a break if you are a working woman and you would work a lot and you are a busy mama. So you need to go for a 5-minute walk. Maybe it can be on your terrace. Maybe if you have access to going outside, you can go with your mahram or whatever. And you need to visualize yourself being in a very beautiful place. Go on a virtual vacation. Picture yourself somewhere, because brain doesn't distinguish what is real and what is not. So do it and do what you love, hobbies. And then you can have many hobbies. It can be baking, art, gardening, cooking, pottery, any such crocheting, because hobbies promote eustress. Yeah, eustress is basically um, positive kind of stress that kinds of make you feel excited. So it is felt on when if you are in amusement parks, you feel it on roller coasters, and maybe you're watching something scary or a fun challenge. Yeah, and you need to have that stress release. And eustress is releasing of happy hormones, and release stress is a good stress. And find friends which are a source of joy. Of course, righteous friends, not people who are dunya oriented, people who are akhira oriented. And don't tell me that sisters who are the Quran teachers and Quran students, they are very boring. They are not boring at all. And they are as much as fun as anybody can. And they are very fun, and they are very cheeky, and they have good, what do you say, sense of humor, and they crack jokes, and they're amazing people to hang out with because they definitely worry about the akhirah and the dunya both as well. So, and understand one thing, that not everyone wants to spend time with you. And it is necessarily good for you. It is important for you to have few friends. People say that I have so many friends. Yeah. It's not needed for you to have so many friends. It's just for you to have a close circle where you have good people to chat and go out with, who inspire you, who push you to give your best. And they should bring you joy. If somebody you meet is bringing you down and being negative, distance yourself. This is not actually true friendship is all about. And then true friendship should make you feel better. It should make you feel happier and want the best for you. If that is not in your friendships, then you need to reevaluate those friendships, because some friends weigh you down, and good friends are a source of relief. They help you forget, refocus, listen, empathetic, feel nurtured and loved. And connect with friends as a stress release. Because when you're connecting with your friends, having good talks, sharing your dreams and aspirations, sharing your aha moments, you feel that good hormone oxytocin is released when bonding with friends. You feel supported, you feel having fun. So don't overburden friends. And sometimes, if you feel your friends are not able to help you with your situations, then definitely counseling therapy is necessary. So get support, you release your tension, find beneficial ways to cope, and show that love and compassion to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Accept the fact, my dear sisters, that you are not perfect. If at all I am teaching you this workshop today, I have been sharing so much of things and techniques. But do you think I won't be stressed ever? If you think like that, I just want to pop up that bubble and say that I do feel stressed as well. But Alhamdulillah, due to self-awareness and learning so many things, I have figured it out what works for me and what I need to do. That is the only difference between you and me. And I have not got any magic wand, and we are not in the world of Hogwarts that I have got it figured it out. So you need to understand that no one is perfect. Stop expecting perfection from yourself, the people around you, your kids, your spouse, anybody. And you have to keep a very, very strong watch on your self talk. Yeah. So have that scrutiny what you're saying to yourself, negative or positive. Be compassionate and learn to say no. When you say no to others, you say yes to what's truly important. What's important? Your mental health, your physical health, your spouse, your kids, your family. And saying no relieves you to extra stress, and you live a more balanced life. And don't burden yourself with commitments that you can't honor. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. This is something we must not do at all. Yeah. So these are a few things. And before we go to the next part, which is going to be our last part. So quickly, I want to revise that what are stressors? Stressors are the things in your daily life that trigger pressure or tension. And for most women, it could be deadlines, kids, housework piling up, emotional stress from relationships. So think of stressors like the weight you carry. And some days it's heavier than others, right? Recognize the stress in your body, high headaches, tight shoulders, stiff neck, digestive issues, fatigue or irritability, racing heartbeat, or trouble sleeping. So your body whispers before it screams. So start listening early, catch up these signs, okay? And what is a stress response? How you react when something stressful happens. You might snap at your child. You may overeat, you may oversleep, or freeze in oven. And this response is okay in short-term stress, like an emergency. But when it becomes chronic, it can harm your heart, it can damage your immune system, hormones, and even your mental health. And what is the damage of stress? Long-term unmanaged stress can lead to heart disease, hormonal imbalance, anxiety or depression, weak immunity, fatigue, and burnout. It doesn't just affect your body, my dear sisters, it affects your relationships, your deen, your peace. And then unhealthy coping methods is you scrolling through social media for hours, binge eating or skipping meals, yelling at your loved ones, ignoring problems instead of solving them, emotional shutdown. These might feel comforting, but they only push your peace further away. And your transformational vocabulary game must be up. Your words shape your world. So please shift your words and you shift your emotions. And then change your words, change your life, because words are powerful self-programming tools. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam reminded us to choose good words because they leave an impact. So try, just I'm not failing, I'm learning, I'm not alone, I have Allah. It's a challenge, but I trust Allah will bring ease. And then healthy stress busters, what I just discussed with you. And 10 ways to manage stress is basically you start your day with Allah, organize your time, build emotional awareness, pause before reacting. If at all you're a person who just reacts, I had done this previously in one of the workshops where I had asked sisters to write something and place it on their fridge, refrigerator. What is it? Pause before reacting. Give yourself 2 minutes. Connect with supportive sisters. Don't isolate yourself, please. And make a step far. Clean your heart daily. Move your body. Like, like all the time, have some gentle stretches and practice gratitude. Shukr is very, very important. Focus on what's going on right, not on what all is going on wrong. And then breathe intentionally. I told you many times that grounding yourself in the now is very important, and that can happen when you're breathing intentionally. Limit your screen time, especially from toxic feeds. Unfollow all those pages which really bring toxicity or not serving any good or helping you in your dunya and akhirah. And unfollowing people, pages, channels, anything which is not serving the purpose. And you are not a robot. Recharge, recharge. So laugh, play, rest. That is what you need. And set your goals with the intention of pleasing Allah. Don't be a perfect mom, wife, or a woman for the dunya's applause. And remember, one suggestion from me, one advice: you cannot be perfect. Whatever we are doing is going to be imperfect, because perfect is only Allah alone. Allah is devoid of any imperfection. So we are just going to be imperfect, humble human beings. So set your goal to please Allah. Be a better mom with patience and connection, not just routine. Be a wife with emotional support and love. Be a daughter, which is with gratitude and kindness. Be a mu'mina with tawakkul and taqwa. Yeah. So I hope it is clear for everyone. I think this is something I wanted to say. Okay. So I just want to talk briefly about these 4 A's to cope up with stress. Additionally, if you allow me to, shall I? If I'm not taking much of your time. Okay. So Aisha is allowing me. What about others? Shall I? Trust me, I'm not going to take much of your time. Okay. So now, these are the 4 ways usually that we use to cope with stress as well. Okay. There are the few ways which you guys have shared with me, but these are a few ways which is something what we do and we observe and we follow, like the usual stuff. So I just want to talk about it. Okay. So what are the 4 ways? The first one is avoid. It is you basically unnecessary stress, you try to avoid it. Then it is alter the stressful situation, and wherein you are in a stressful situation and you alter. So it can be due to communicating it, or it can be due to behavioral strategies. So this is one thing. And the third way is accept. You basically accept what it is, like responsibilities, mistakes, and then it is with the communication you help it. And then when it is a stressful situation, you adapt. You adapt to whatever comes your way. It can be situations, it can be new schedules, it can be new standards. How we are going to do that, I'll be giving you some examples, inshallah, and then we can discuss this. Till then, if you have any questions, keep them ready, because we are going to end this very soon. So if you have any questions in the chat, not here, in the chat. So when we talk about avoid, it is stepping away from unnecessary stress. Like you don't say yes to every task. So that way, what happens? You avoid negative people and toxic environments when possible. So that is how you can avoid. For example, a teacher is like you are a teacher and you are avoiding gossip in the staff room that drains your energy before the class, so you are basically avoiding it, right? And like, if you are a mother and you avoid checking your daughter's phone the moment you see it, and you just start your day with quiet and zikr, and you do your chores and you just don't go towards your phone and you avoid it. So this is one way of managing your stress, and you stop arguing with someone who never listens, and instead what do? You protect your peace. So this is one way to avoid things, because sometimes peace begins by not attending every fight you're invited to. It's not important for you to get into every single fight, okay? And then the second thing is alter, change the situation or your response. What does that mean? It means if you can't walk away from a stressful thing, change how you deal with it. Now, a mother getting overwhelmed by cooking and cleaning all day, how can she alter the situation? Tell me. I'm asking you guys. Now you will give me the solutions. Take a break. Asking for help. I'm stuck on that. Okay. Others, by adding something new in schedule. Okay. Have to relax. Stick to. She can alter the routine by preparing meals in advance and involving her family members, isn't it? If you are getting overwhelmed by cooking and cleaning all day, and that is part of your life, what can we do? Make some changes in the routine. Maybe have some help. Some days you can order food, but can it be regular? No. So what is that what we can do? We can prepare some meal prepping can be done. And then comes accept. What is accept? You let go of what you can't control, because some stressors are beyond your control, and accepting them reduces mental resistance. Like your child is misbehaving, or maybe your student is misbehaving despite of all your efforts. What do you do? What do you do in this situation? If you are accepting it, how do you accept it? Come on, do it for me. I make dua. Okay. You stop talking. Okay. Ignore for a time. Okay. I do a positive self-talk. Very good. Instead of self-blame, you breathe and say, he's still learning, I'm still learning. Inshallah, we'll get out of this. That is what you say. Now you are asked to submit a substitute for a class last minute. Like the staff has asked you that, you know what, you have to do the substitution for this class. If you are a teacher, you are asked to take this class. So what do? You accept the reality and you do best with what you have. Now, another situation. Your house doesn't look perfect today. What do you do? What do you do in this situation? Stress. I know it's stress. You cleaned and you don't have much time. You just have somebody coming up. So what do you do in that situation? You remind yourself that, barakah is in sabr, not in spotless floors. I did what I could. I can't do beyond this. Yeah. So acceptance doesn't mean weakness. It means trusting Allah's plan while you are doing your part. And then comes adapt, grow with change. Like adjust your attitude, adjust your schedule, adjust your expectations to fit in new situations, right? Like, if a mother gets used to her toddler's unpredictable nap times and learns to use small pockets of time for herself, you cannot tell your child to sleep this time or sleep that time because that's not possible. Your child is a baby. So, in that situation, what do? You just understand that these are the timings my child sleeps, and this is something I need to do. Like, a teacher adapts to online classes. How? By learning Zoom, by learning Canva, by learning all the tools. Instead of resisting, she grows. That is how we adapt. Instead of getting stressed and saying, oh, this institute is all online and I have to do all of this, I don't know, even I don't have support. Instead of panicking and stressing, what do? You adapt to it. And you learn to lower your expectations during stressful weeks and focus on what really matters, because presence is important, not perfection. And adaptability is sunnah, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you have gone through this year, you see that he modeled flexibility under pressure. So they are types of stresses for women. What do? They have this sudden stress, which is called as acute stress. Like you are about to present in a parent-teacher meeting, or a child um, spills milk all over the kitchen right before the guests arrive. You feel intense, but that quickly goes away. Then there is episodic acute stress, where what happens? A teacher has daily last-minute admin changes and you feel anxious regularly, even if it's not serious each time. Then you have this chronic stress, which we already discussed. So these are a few things which we have to take care of. And now we are going to move on to a questionnaire, which I'm going to ask you questions. I want all of you to quickly grab your paper and a pen, and you're going to give yourself marks. Okay. And the scale is, if it never happened to you, you will give yourself 0 marks. If it almost never, then you give 1 marks. If it's sometimes, you give 2 marks. Often, you give 3. And if it's very often, 4. So it is never and sometimes, often, very often. Fine. You need to just grab your pen and paper or whatever. And you have to add up your scores. So make sure you're using something where you can add up your score. I have already mentioned, and I won't take any questions unless I'm done. That is it. Okay. So let me finish. Let me wind it up, and then we'll talk about it. How can I tell the score if you have not even attempted? I have not read the questions yet. I am just waiting for all of you to grab a pen and a paper and tell me you're ready so that we start. Okay? Or you can use your phone. If you have been in this situation, if it has never happened to you, you give yourself a 0. It's written on the slide. It's occasional, you can give yourself a 1. Sometimes 2, often 3, very often 4. Okay? Got it? Fine. Bismillah. Do you feel overwhelmed by too many responsibilities? Do you feel overwhelmed by too many responsibilities? And you have to add up the scores in the end. So don't use the chat box. Use your pen and paper. That will be better. Do you feel nervous or unable to control important aspects of life? Do you feel nervous or unable to control important aspects of your life? Rate yourself, okay? Do you feel that unexpected things disturb your peace? Do you feel that unexpected things disturb your peace? Do you find it difficult to manage things in a balanced way? Do you find it difficult to manage things in a balanced way? Do you get upset when things don't go as planned? Do you get upset when things don't go as planned? Do you feel that your problems have piled up beyond your control? Do you feel that your problems have piled up beyond your control? Do you feel angry easily or struggle to control your emotions? Do you feel angry easily or struggle to control emotions? Do you feel isolated when things get hard? Do you feel isolated when things get hard? Do you find it hard to accept help even when needed? Do you find it hard to accept help when needed? So now, if you are done, so you are going to have scores. If your score, write your scores now in the chat, everyone. Write your score. Okay, so if your score is from 0 to 13, you are low stress, okay? And if your score is 14 to 26, you are in the moderate stress range. And if your score is 27 to 40, you are high stress. So for you, only one suggestion, it's time to practice more self-care and self-management techniques. Because this is just a self-awareness check, not a label, and your number doesn't really define you, but it helps you decide what steps you can take for your next in your life for your emotional well-being, inshallah. So that is what it is. So the techniques, what we already discussed, like deep breathing, mindfulness, movement, positivity, self-care is something I want all of you to practice. And alhamdulillah, with this, we come to an end of today's session, which I thoroughly enjoyed with you all. And I'm hoping that this session has been helpful to you in some or the other way. And may it bring relief and may it bring some kind of mental clarity, because that is what was my aim. Especially this session I had designed for our Azharul Jannah volunteers, because they tirelessly work being homemakers, mothers, and students. They still contribute for others' learning. So my main agenda was for our team. But of course, alhamdulillah, Ustaz Zahra agreed for us to open this for all the other sisters who can benefit from these sessions, because emotions are something we are wired with, and we are constantly in this zone where all of us have different feelings and emotions. And many times we don't know where to go, whom to talk, and what to talk about. So this is basically us getting that clarity and understanding ourselves, right? So I tried my best from my end to bring out or consolidate the knowledge in 2 days' time possible. And may Allah just make this process easy for all of you. And I hope this really benefited you. So before we wind up, I really want to know, what is that one thing that you take away from today's session, and how this session had helped you in your growth? Come on. One thing you take away, and one thing that is going to help you in your growth. Positive self-talk. Okay. Only one person can change perspective of, okay, sabr is me. Okay. Avoiding deadlines. Being nicer to myself. Okay. Always be positive. Okay. Work on yourself. Patience and self-control. Okay. Inshallah, Sanobar, I had read your request to conduct this session in Urdu. Inshallah, I'll plan it maybe in the month of this month or the month of August. It will be through Al Asal's platform. Okay. So I am considering your uh, request. Okay. Inshallah. I'll be doing this in Urdu as well. Inshallah. Okay. Reaction is in our hand delayed. Very good. Okay, now. So, Alhamdulillah, I'm really happy with your contribution and participation. And definitely work on these things. And these are a few things which we can do, inshallah. How to deal and accept that you are losing your hearing and be at peace with it. I always in a state of anxious and panic. Losing your hearing means what? Losing your hearing as in sense of hearing, or maybe you are not being heard by the people around you. This question is not very clear to me. I'll be sharing, if you are in one of the groups of hearts, this one, yani the hearts to ease group, what we have, I'll be sharing the Al Asal flyer in that as well. Okay. So be in this group, what you are in. If at all I conduct any development workshops, self-development workshops, you can be updated. Okay. Capacity of developing vertigo, and this is something that would need medical advice. I am not really qualified to give you advice on that, Sister Batul. I'm really sorry about it because I'm not a doctor. No, it's not true that if people say that you take medicine of depression, you have to take for whole life. That's a very wrong information. I have known people who have gone from medication to zero medications, but that is what it takes you to find a proper psychiatrist and a proper therapist, both. Okay. Nazar and hasad is related to stress also. Can't say so, like, Nazar and hasad is related to OCD. Actually doesn't just require psychoeducation. We can do a session on OCD, but that is not actually going to help you come out of OCD, because OCD requires, if it is very chronic, it requires proper medication and it requires therapy. It cannot happen without both. That is not possible. You can read some positive psychology. Positive Islamic psychology is one such book. Yeah, may Allah ease our affairs. Any upcoming classes, I'll have to plan. I didn't know I'm depressed or have anxiety. I have symptoms that you told, feeling sense of achievement when I brush and comb her, but times overeating and all of these. Once I took sessions from a counselor, but that she made me more upset. Not all the counselors work for us, so we have to see whom to trust. Look, Sister Batul, if you are going through an illness or an ailment, this, you know that Allah doesn't burden anybody except what they can take. So if Allah put a condition, especially a medical condition on you, that means Allah is cleansing you, purifying you from your sins. Allah had tested Ayyub alayhi salam in the same way. He was very patient. It takes a lot of courage, but then you have to trust that Allah has better plans for you and you will come out of it and you are being purified. That is the only way to come out of it and accept it. Okay. I'm going to do a course called Luminous Muslima, which is going to be in August, inshallah. So that is again a personality development course. I've already done like the first phase of it, which is done, but I'm going to do the second phase of it this year, inshallah. How to overcome this loop? I mean, practicing these things for some times, but eventually you have to keep yourself around people and have some accountability. Of course, not all the days you will be doing the same thing with the same intensity. Some days will be low, because even the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam complained that when they are in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they feel very, rejuvenated and pumped up. But whenever they go to their homes, they feel low. So that is a natural feeling. Don't try to challenge your humanness. Don't try to be perfect every single time. You are not asked to be perfect. Please try to understand this. Like, why do we always want ourselves to be perfect? We are not created to be perfect. It is Allah alone who has to be perfect. Whatever steps we take are imperfect steps. Tell yourself that these are the imperfect steps I'm taking for myself to get better. Sometimes it gets difficult to do all this when you live with people who constantly talk bad about you. Maybe reminding. Okay, how do we avoid these people when we live with them? Firstly, try to understand that if at all people are making judgments about you, they talk about you, it's not your reality, my dear. There are some things which are facts. There are few things which are just their thoughts, their assumptions. Their assumptions are not your reality. You have to understand, you have to mature and think that this is not my reality. And with time, you grow this thing in your mind, you rewire your brain, telling it that this is not my reality, this is their thoughts, and you just move on. That is what it is. You have to understand. Ignorance is of what kind? How to deal with ignorance means sometimes somebody is already in their head dealing with their issues, and you think that they are ignoring you. Maybe so many people are typing messages, and I might miss on somebody's message. Maybe she typed that message 10 times. Does that mean I'm ignoring that person? I'm not. I am just focusing on so many things. My phone is like buzzing with messages, and I have so many queries to attend in my personal directly and then here. So we should understand husband's ignorance is why, what is the reason, what is the relationship like, how did it start, when did you feel started, ignored? All of this matters. Yeah. Some words for people dealing with health issues like cancer. Actually, we cannot console them, because if at all we say there's some good for you in this, everybody will feel hurt. If at all as a society, what happened to us is like, if somebody has some death in their family, we go and meet them. We are like, definitely Allah knows best what happened, and it happened for good. Nobody is ready to accept the fact at that point of time that this is for good, that somebody expired they loved. So we have to be very mindful with what kind of words. So we need to learn some neutralizing statements, right? So we have to understand that, okay, this has happened, and whatever has happened, definitely Allah will help you through this. I know this is a difficult time. I can feel how difficult this might be for you. But definitely we are with you in whatever ways. Make lots of dua, do lots of sadaqat. Tell me what we can do. Tell me how we can help. Doctor has open choice for antidepressants, but I'm very decisive due to impacts on conceiving. This is if the doctor has advised, then definitely they have all the right to advise you, and it's not necessary that if you are on antidepressants you won't conceive. So first fix your health before you have the baby, isn't it? Because you being in your right kind of mindset is very important before taking a responsibility of the child. And when the time is right, Allah will definitely bless you. And if Allah has blessed you, then Allah will definitely empower you as well, right? That is something from Allah alone. Nobody can tell that this is right or this is wrong. And let me tell you, I am a person who has finished her counseling, psychology, Islamic psychology, and counseling techniques, but I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a doctor. So these medical advices is not for me to give. I'm not qualified to do so. Okay, I can psychoeducate you. That's what I can do, and I'm trying that. Okay. You can focus only by being in the moment. If you're already thinking of 100 dozen things, then you cannot focus. Simple. Okay. Okay, then Jazakumullah khair kaseera, everyone, for your time and for your questions. And may Allah bless you all immensely. May Allah comfort your hearts, and may Allah replace all the worries and the discomforts what you have with sakina, with afia, And may Allah keep us steadfast on the path of righteousness, and may Allah make us amongst those who only seek His pleasure and His healing. And may Allah always protect our hearts from all the evil seen and the unseen. And may Allah bless us with His sakina. Barakallahu feekum. Groups are open for you to leave your reflections, feedback, how this workshop helped you, and what more topics would you want in the future, inshallah. So I am going to sign off now. Jazakallah khairan once again. Barakallahu feekum. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.